90% of millionaires created their wealth through real estate. Nothing sexy, nothing new. Let's figure out though how they did it. So a study came out that 90% of millionaires created their wealth through real estate. Am I surprised? Of course not. Absolutely not. I've talked about it many times. Look at your grandparents, look at your parents. They're starting to retire and transfer wealth to their kids and their grandkids, and a massive component of that is in real estate. Now, not just real estate, but real estate has allowed them to invest in other things: cryptos, stocks, 401k, retirements, whatever they wanted to. But the wealth was created through real estate, 90%. And the reason why I think that's important is because the message that we're hearing now is not that. The message that we're hearing now is the opposite. It's, real estate's too expensive. Real estate is expensive. So I just find it intriguing that this came out, because in 23 to 24 years of doing real estate, I've never heard the message change as it has as much the last few years about how real estate is maybe not a good investment. A lot of it has to do with it is a lot more expensive, understandably. It's more difficult to get. That's the first thing. Rates right now are super high, so a lot of people can't afford it. Understand that. But if you look at it from a macro, a big picture standpoint, specifically here in California or Southern California where I'm at, they're not building enough real estate anymore. Corporate America has come to realize that they'll make more money if they build whole neighborhoods and rent them out, because now they get the equity and you pay the mortgage. So there's been certain factors that have happened, right? From an emotional standpoint, 08, 09, 010, a lot of people lost their house. That's only 14 years ago, and certain people still remember that. The emotional of, I'm not going to put myself in that situation where I lose my house. The fear of loss overpowers the fact that financially it's still a better decision than renting. A lot of people argue with me that, if my rent is $1,000 cheaper than buying a house, it's a no-brainer. Well, yeah, short term it is. I agree. That's $12,000 you save, and in 10 years, that's $120,000. But I would then turn around and say, if you bought that house in 10 years, how much are you going to have in equity? If I bought a $700,000 home, that home will be worth what? Maybe twice as much? Let's assume 75% more. Now it's 1.1, 1.2. All of a sudden, that $120,000 extra I paid in 10 years is a small drop in the bucket. And we're not even talking about, if you're writing it, we're not even talking about interest deductions. So anyways, let's talk about how they did it. And the formula was actually very simple. It's always been like this. But again, the more things change, the more things stay the same. The first thing step one of becoming a millionaire in real estate is buy your own house. I know that's assumed, but no, it's not. By a lot of people. Step one, buy your own house. Stop renting. After about 5-6 years, you'll build equity. Then you get a line of equity, a loan against the house, and then you go and buy a second house, and that one you rent out. And the mortgage is paid by the tenant. So now you've used the equity that was created in the house to buy the second one. It doesn't come out of your pocket. Now, if you saved enough money, God bless you, you can do that. But step two is you use the equity of your existing house to buy the next house. That's how you do it. And then you do it again, so on and so on. But one of the things that people are, after they buy their first rental, people start to realize is that you can start partnering with people. You could start partnering to own duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes. It doesn't all have to be you. And one of the biggest hurdles I face with people in doing this process, in going through this process, is the idea that you got to do it on your own. I mean, it's easier emotionally, but not financially. You know, if you do it on your own, it's just you. If you do it with someone else, then, you know, you have to ask someone. And one of the challenges that I face is, let's assume that you're 25 years old, you have a good job, you have a lot of student loan debt, and you want to buy a house and you don't have enough. And let's say you ask your brother, hey, will you help co-sign on this, or so I can get this house? Will you do me that favor? And they say no. I hear a lot of that. And I tell them, the problem is you didn't make it a partnership. You asked for a favor. The way to get around that is, hey bro, I want to buy a house. I'm tired of paying rent. I need your help. I need your help to get this loan. If you help me out, I'll make you a partner. I'll pay the mortgage. I'll take care of everything. And then when I refi or sell, I'll give you 10% of the equity, for example. So in 5 years, if you refinance and, you know, the house made $200,000 equity, he gets $20,000. I think that's a small price to pay. Very small price to pay for you being able to buy your house. So that's an example of first-time buyers partnering with someone. Another example is partnering with friends once you get to step 3, which is multiple units. You don't have all the money. What's wrong with getting 2 or 3 guys to pitch in $50,000? You guys come up with a $200,000 down payment on a million fourplex. Now you guys have enough money to buy it. And I rather own 25% of a fourplex than own 0 of nothing. Learn to partner with it. Now, the reason people don't do this is it's too complicated. Where do I start? What entity should I have? And I can see that. But that's why you have people like me to sit down and put a plan together. So, I challenge you to get past the fear of the unknown, the fear of making a mistake, the fear of not knowing what you're doing, to reach out to me and say, Paco, I want to own a fourplex. I only have X amount of money. How can I put this together so I can either do it on my own or bring in partners? How does that look like? What do I do? Maybe I'll want to partner with you. Have you ever thought of that? I challenge you to move past the fear of all of this, because that is always the biggest factor that holds people back. I challenge you to create a retirement equity for your kids and your grandkids, to create wealth. I challenge you to let go of the comfortable rent, to invest in a home that's a little more expensive and uncomfortable by giving up the Starbucks and the fast food every day. I challenge you to play chess and not checkers, to think long term, not short term. I challenge you to create the opportunity for you to be able to sell in 15 years in your retirement and get all that cash and travel the world, buy a vacation home. Or I challenge you to create a situation where you can get a reverse mortgage, so you're making money off the equity and living your best life in retirement. I challenge you. Call me. If you want to learn this process, call me.